Poppy. What's up, everybody? I'm over here cooking dinner with hooks, rubs, and spices. B-Rob turned me on to this stuff, and I tell you what, it's great. It's a homemade blend of the finest ingredients sourced from Texas gardens, farmers, and markets. And it's some good shit. I tell you what, try the smoking sweetness, or you can try Hoppy's favorite, the Mad Cow, which is a nice peppery slap in the face. One taste, and you'll be hooked. Hooks, rubs, and spices.
You're now listening to Ramblings with Rob. If you like hanging out at Walmart, if you like hanging out in the aisles, if you like talking random stuff, random things with Rob. Random Ramblings with Rob. Yo. Random Ramblings with Rob. Walmart talking for random Ramblings with Rob. Rob.
What up, everybody? This is your boy B-Rob, and I'm back with another edition of the Random Ramblings with Rob podcast. First and foremost, I like to thank you, the listener, for coming back each and every week, or however you listen to podcasts. If you're a first-time listener, I appreciate you for giving my show a try. And if you received a recommendation to give the show a listen, give that person that recommended you to me a crisp high five if you're in the vicinity. But if you're not, use your favorite social media app of choice, to whether it be Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever the hell have you. Just send them a DM, be like, yo, dog, I appreciate it. Thanks for the recommendation. Cause shit, everybody on goddamn Twitter anyway talking about, I'm bored, I'm on a car ride, send me some new podcast recommendations and shit like that. So if I'm caught up in that hullabaloo or whatever, and you got me from that pool, as much as I talk shit about that shit, look at that, talk shit about that shit, damn, I appreciate it anyway. So, speaking of social media apps of choice, I mean, if you're on Twitter, you can follow the show at 3R Show, and you can follow on Facebook. Do you follow on Facebook, or do you like on Facebook? Either or. Whatever you do on Facebook, you can do it over there. I'm over there posting random shit, and you can follow me on Instagram using the hashtag 3R Show or hashtag Walmart Log, to where you can find me walking the hallowed halls of Walmart, talking all manners of malarkey. I was gonna say shit, but I said shit so many times already that, you know, I had to come up with another word. And joining me on this auspicious occasion is a manly man, nice mane of hair, nice little goatee going on, make me miss my beard that I used to have, but I can't have no more because I got a job. And he is the host of Hawaii's #1 podcast. Joining me on the Random Rounds with Rob, I kind of scared myself with that inflection, is Mekel Kasanova from the Kasanova Podcast. How are you, sir?
I am doing fan-friggin-tastic. I'm doing, and I love that intro. I'm over here trying not to crack up, man. I love your energy, and thank you so much for having me on the show. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, everyone is fine. I'm here. The baby sleep. The boy in the kitchen doing chore things, and the wife is at work. So I assume you was asking how everybody's doing this. You was talking about us and not the listeners, because they're listening. For sure. Yeah, but way this all came about and everything, the homie, former guest of the show, Delvin Cox, he took an excursion over there to the Kasanova Podcast and, you know, chatted it up with you and everything. And I was like, I be goddamn if Delvin Cox gonna be on anybody else's podcast, and I ain't gonna be on it either. So I reached out to you via the Twitter DM, and I was like, yo, dog, let me get on there and whatnot. And then at the time you were going through some personal things, and, you know, most recently you went through a big personal change that you just recently made public, which we'll get into in a little bit. But cards didn't fall just right. So here we are. Now you're on my show. Maybe one day I get on your show a little later on, because I know goddamn well since Devin Cox was on there. I can come party too, you know, because I seen your guest list. I mean, you got all kind of caliber of guests on there, from Isaiah Washington and, you know, voice actors from all spectrums from anime to freaking video games, whatever have you, and all this and that. And I was like, man, I have no chance of being on this shit. But then I heard, once again, Delvin motherfucking Cox, and I was like, all right, I got a chance.
Oh man, you're more than welcome anytime to come on the show, man. We can make this happen this week. We can make it happen tonight. We can make it happen tomorrow. Well, however we want to do it, we can make it happen. Definitely would love to have you on the show. But yeah, man, it's been quite the journey in this podcast world, because I initially started this off as a hobby, and it's kind of crazy how this has transitioned into something that I'm going to be doing all out. So, yeah.
Yeah, but before we even get too far into that or whatever, I mean, I was listening to the episode with the guy that created what's that, freaking Fantasy Strike or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I was listening to that interview that y'all had together, and I learned a little bit about you through that interview. And at the same time, I was listening to that interview and I understood what was being said. But after hearing you and him talk and getting a little bit of your background, you actually understood what the fuck he was saying. So like I heard what you were saying, the both of y'all, but you understood what each other was saying. So kind of elaborate on that for the listeners and whatnot. Very smart guy. You were homeschooled for a great deal of time. You tested out early, and then you went on to college at how old?
I was 16.
Yeah, so that kind of tells you. So, I mean, if y'all want to pull up that episode of his show to find out what his name was again, I know it's
David Serlin.
Yeah, David Serlin. Yeah, you want to pull up that episode and listen to it or whatever. I mean, I found it highly amusing and everything, and you kind of listening to you in that setting. It kind of put me in the mind frame of myself. You lead out with a question, and then your guest just takes it and runs with it or whatever, because that dude was talking. And that's what I rather enjoy that, when I have a guest and everything. You set them up, you hike them the ball, and they just take off and run for the touchdown and shit.
Right? I mean, and it's so rare to get guests that actually can just take the ball and run with it, because there's so many that I've had on where it's like QA, and I'm like, God damn it, just talk about you, talk about something, just talk, motherfucker. God damn.
Yeah. I have been there, and it's just like sometimes it's just those awkward cues and everything. So it'd be like, yeah, man, what'd you think about this? Oh, it was cool.
Right.
And it was cool because
it's like the interview I did with one of the voice actors from the Fire Emblem game that just came out. Man, I had to edit that podcast. There's so many dead spots in there because I asked him a question, he say one thing and stop, and I'm like, all right.
Obviously, you haven't done this before, or a lot.
And it's kind of funny because I get so many, and I can understand for the voice actors that they're used to getting asked the same questions all the time, but it's like, come on now, if you're going to be willing to go on somebody's show, bring some energy, goddammit.
Unless you have a tremendous time difference, and then I can understand.
Yeah. But it's, one of the things I like to try to do is I like to try to ask an open-ended question to get them to do more than just say yes or no, and then get them to talk, like including that episode with David Serlin. Like, if you listen to the beginning of it, he was very, very guarded, and I had to disarm him and put him at ease. And then, like, that's why I hopped on the topic when he was bringing up he went to MIT and all this. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what do you think about this? I mean, that was completely not a question I had scheduled.
Yeah.
Written, but I'm just like, okay, I got to get this guy to open up somehow. So I saw the opening in the armor and I just went for the kill.
Yeah. And then like the whole, his elaboration on MIT and everything, just the environment and how it's structured and whatnot. I was just like, that was something I never knew. I just like, MIT, all the smart motherfuckers go there, and he just like opened up this whole new, view of how shit is handled over there. And I was like, God damn, got suicide watch and shit,
Yeah, definitely. It opened my eyes too, because like he's the first person I've ever talked to that went to MIT, and just like you, man. When I hear MIT, I'm like, oh, okay, you must be building rockets and shit. So
yeah, doing was that rocket surgery and brain science and shit,
right? Oh man, yeah.
But like to you in that vein or whatever, I mean, your mom homeschooled you, man, and I can understand that or whatever. I believe we may be in the same age range. What, you an 80s baby?
Yes, sir.
Well,
yes, sir.
Cool. So, I mean, did you and your mom ever sit down and talk about like what was the purpose of you being homeschooled and whatnot, or she just seen in you that like school just wasn't for you? I mean, you just was on another level. You're like intellectually wise.
Well, I mean, before I answer that, I got to ask you a question. You want the politically correct answer, or you want the raw and dirty?
Man, how many times have I said shit since the show has been started? Come on now.
All right, I give you the raw and dirty. So basically, with my mom, the reason she homeschooled me was because when we were living, we ended up moving from where, because I'm originally from Western Samoa. So we moved to Memphis, Tennessee when I was about 7, and that's where my dad's from. And then we ended up staying there for a couple of years, and then the neighborhood went from bad to so it went from an okay neighborhood to a bad one, and it was just to a point where like, you couldn't go up and down the street by yourself. Like my mom used to the most I could do was just go to the library. And because I was so different than the kids in my neighborhood, from a, cultural aspect as well.
Yeah. How big were you at that age? Because, I mean, you talk about Samoa and all that stuff. I mean, you like one of the rock cousins and shit?
True story. My family's actually related. I'm related to the Maivia family.
Well, no shit. All y'all motherfuckers related.
We really are.
I can even go on a tangent about that or whatever, because I'm a professional wrestling fan, and everybody's like, oh yeah, him and Roman Reigns cousin, but it's like that family tree don't even connect. His great whoever, they like play cousins and shit, they just say they brothers, and it's all kind of weird shit. But anyway, you probably know better than I do.
Yeah, so I mean, his family, like his direct family, I'm like not the play family, but the real family. I am related to that one. But yeah. So at 7, I was taller than the average 7-year-old, bigger too. And then by the time I was like 14, 15, I was like 5'8".
Shit. So,
yeah, like a lot of people thought it was like, damn, how old is he? And I didn't look like I was 14 or 15 either. So, but yeah, like it was just a really bad neighborhood. I couldn't really do much aside from go to the library. My mom would have to walk with me to the library, and then, it's all kinds of gangs and shootings and shit. So it just got to a point when she decided to homeschool me. I was originally in 3rd grade. I was going to school, and the school in the neighborhood just went down, and she's like, okay, I can't afford to have you going to school anymore because, there's so many shootings and, kids getting killed and whatnot. And so she just decided to put me in homeschool. And then from there, by the time I hit 15, my mom was like, okay, you're going to go to college. I'm like, why? She's like, I don't want you in Memphis anymore. And this isn't a challenge for you anymore, the schoolwork.
Yeah.
And just kind of in Samoan culture, or Polynesian culture in general. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if it's true for Hawaiian culture as well. I mean, I'm Hawaiian too, but I don't know if the education is as much of a push as it is in Samoan. But basically, education is just, you need to go to school and get something, and get out and make something of yourself, and then come back.
Yeah.
So her whole thing was, okay, you're going to do this now. We're not waiting until you're 17 or 18. You're going now. So she had me go and test out, and apparently, I guess I tested out top that they've ever had. And I'm like, all right, well, this wasn't really a challenge. And the only reason I was even good at school is because, in small culture, you're forced to do schoolwork all the time. They're always throwing homework at you. And the parents have sometimes unrealistically high expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I tested out, and then she's like, all right, you're going back to the islands. I'm like, okay, am I going back to Western Samoa? Am I going to go to American Samoa Community College? She's like, no, you're going to go to Hawaii. I'm like, okay. I haven't been to Hawaii. Who's there? She's like, you're going to go, and you're going to meet your aunt. I'm like, okay. Who's this aunt? I've never met her. She's like, she's family. Don't worry about it. So I applied to Chaminade University for the Catholic College, which I fucking hate that school now,
okay.
In hindsight.
Okay. So since you say you hate it in hindsight or whatever, you don't mind me saying that sound like some shit out of Austin Powers or whatever, right?
Go for it. Go for it. I hate that school.
Because I believe you brought it up in that interview that I was mentioning or whatever, and I was like, is this motherfucker chanting or something? Did he just have a conniption? What the fuck is going on?
Oh, God.
For real, what I thought was like, you didn't want to say the actual school name, so you was like a shamana or whatever the fuck.
Nah, that's the name of the school, Chaminade University. It's a Catholic college. It's a bullshit college too, because for so long I was there, and apparently the motherfuckers weren't even accredited. So it was a waste of time, waste of money. And then trying to transfer out to another school, your credits didn't count for nothing. It's like when I did, because I graduated from there, and when I graduated in 2009, 2008, I was like, okay, well, I want to go to Hawaii Pacific University, or UH. Then I tried to transfer my credits, and it's like, oh, you graduated? Cool. You're going to start here as a freshman. That's how much your credits are worth. I'm like, for real? Bet? All right, cool. All right.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that school's pretty much booty. Pretty much booty.
Oh yeah.
So, navigating through all the bullshit and kind of, getting through school or whatnot. I mean, what field did you wind up going into?
I started off doing biology, and then I realized I wasn't smart enough for that. And then my mom's like, no, if you're not doing biology and become a doctor, then you're going to do chemistry. I'm like, okay. That's like taking me from algebra to trig. Yeah, that's just a bad decision all the way around. I was like, okay. So I went to chemistry. Didn't even do a semester of that. I did like 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I'm switching again. So I ended up switching over to communications marketing. And I don't know why. It was easy. I guess you could say that. Like, it was an easy set of classes. But then I really started to take on and enjoy them. And they were a lot of fun. I learned about marketing, learned about tactics that journalists and media use to promote stuff. I understood what Eric Bischoff was saying more recently when he was talking about controversy creates cash. Well, yeah, I learned that in marketing.
Yeah. Now, with all that being said and everything, all those stats that you just put up under your belt and whatnot, when did the podcasting come into play? Did it come in after that or during that? You know, just
Man, it didn't come in until about 2 years ago.
Well, damn.
Right? Yeah, it came in 2 years ago. You want me to go into it? I can go into it.
Well, yeah. Come on, spin us up, homie.
All right, cool. I catch all up to speed. So basically, I started a podcast with my then at the time best friend Cameron. I'm just gonna say that. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to do a podcast because he used to listen to like Windows Central and the Joe Rogan podcast and all that. And he's like, man, we should do a podcast together.
Thoughts,
and I was like,
your thoughts on Joe Rogan?
I think I kind of think he flip flops. I think he's a bit of a fence sitter. Depending on who's on his show, he flops back and forth. Mm-hmm. Personally, I like the fact that he has any and everybody on, but I've noticed that he doesn't really take a stance on things. Like he'll say one thing when he's with one person, and then switch up and say something when he's with someone else. Mm-hmm. I don't like the inconsistency, because my thing is, if you're gonna say something, stick with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think?
I don't listen to that motherfucker. I pulled him up once. I seen the podcast was like 3 fucking hours. I was like, fuck you, Joe Rogan. I'll watch reruns of Fear Factor. I'll catch you on UFC somewhere and maybe catch a YouTube clip here and there, but I ain't about to listen to this long ass podcast.
Right?
I mean, I get him in doses or whatever, and I kind of understand how important he is to the world of podcasting, as is Kevin Smith, and a select few that's like in the thousands of episodes almost and shit. And it was kind of like there at the beginning of the podcast forefront. I mean, just about anybody that you talk to about podcasting, what was one of the first podcasts you ever listened to? They either saying Joe Rogan or Kevin Smith or somebody like that. So, I mean, I recognize his importance, his inclusion in the realm of podcasting.
Yeah.
But I don't listen to the motherfucker, so kiss my ass.
I can deal with his clips. Like, I'll catch a 9 or 15-minute clip on YouTube. But yeah, like to sit through, I don't find him that interesting as a host. So it's like, oh, okay, all right. Well, you're not really engaged. Like, I'll compare it to this. Like, if I had to listen between him and Delvin Cox, I'm going with Delvin, because Delvin is entertaining and educational at the same time. So, if you and that's the style of podcaster that I prefer. So, if you can't maintain my attention with some energy, then I can't really, because Joe is kind of the same across the board throughout his entire show, and that's just kind of boring. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's safe to say that you only go listen to this episode of my show then, right?
Shit, I'm listening to all of them. I'll fucks with you.
But, yeah, I mean, you and your homeboy got together, make things happen, and, where do we go in the beginnings? What's the start? What's the subject matter? What's going on?
All right. So, basically, the show was called Motherfxxxer Podcast, and it ran for about 7 or 8 episodes.
See, there you go again, man. You was like tech, etc. or whatever. I thought you didn't want to say the title. You just putting words in there like shamanana and shit.
No. This was called tech, etc. And I thought the title was boring and generic, but he wanted to go with it, so I was like, all right, whatever. And basically, it ran for about 7 to 8 episodes in 2017. It came down. Huh?
Sound like me and my wife. Yeah, we tried to do a podcast together. I think we only made it like 6-7 episodes, and we just like, all right, it just stopped.
No, I almost did that myself, but yeah I don't know.
I told her, I was like, because I do this podcast, this is like the main jam or whatever. I do a every now and then wrestling podcast, and she wanted to throw this in the mix or whatever. I mean, it was ulterior motives on her part. It was just like, you like doing podcasting, and, you know, I like being with you, and this is, you know, time for us to get together. We can do some things and, you know, have a bonding moment. So I was like, okay, I'm down with that. But if we're going to do this, this is your show. I mean, I need to get all the stuff from you. I mean, I'll handle the editing and the social media and all the other bullshit, but this is your baby. You know, I do all this other shit, but this is your baby. So I wind up doing all the things as, like, when we get a pet in this motherfucker, it's not my pet, but I wind up becoming my pet and shit. So then I was like, hey, we got to record on Monday. Okay. Hey, it's Tuesday. We were supposed to record Monday. Hey, it's Wednesday. We were supposed to record Monday. And then just like, fuck it.
Yeah, that would sound like a situation I would end up in. Oh, man. Yeah, I can see how. I can see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did that. The topics would vary from different things to tech, occasionally go to music. I never had any input for the topics. It was all about whatever he wanted to do or talk about. And it just got to a point where he would just overtalk me the entire conversation. Yeah. So I was like,
why the fuck am I even here? You know?
Yeah. And it's like, not long after that, last episode we did together, like, we kind of fell out and haven't been friends for the last 2 years. I don't talk to that motherfucker. But it is what it is. So then I was like, I got all this podcast equipment. I got my Yeti, got my computer, got all my software. I said, fuck it. I'm just going to do a podcast myself. Mm-hmm. So I just started, and I started in September, today, 2 years ago.
Word. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. So I started with my own podcast, and initially I titled it Cass Speaks, as in Kasanova Speaks, and then I was just talking about different things from day-to-day experiences out here in Hawaii to games, movies, music, and then I kind of started transitioning over to, hey, like, I don't want to just be a cheap copy of what Tech Etc. was. Like, I want to do something different. So I started thinking, okay, well, how about I just reach out to YouTubers? And so I started doing that. To be honest, a lot of YouTubers got fucking astronomical egos. Worse than Hollywood. So I had to, I'd reach out to some of them, and then they'd be like, oh, you don't have enough subscribers. I'm not going to talk to you. And it's not, if you get a couple more subscribers on your channel, I might watch, or it might come on your channel or your podcast. And, yeah. I started running into that with a lot of these YouTubers and gaming and whatnot. So then I got to a point where I'm like, all right, well, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to deal with them. So then I pivoted over to, I had political commentators on it, and I talked to them, and then after a while, I'm like, yeah, I don't really jive with this either. I don't want that controversy.
Yeah.
So then I pivoted again, and this pivot was after I had a situation with another YouTuber, and I'll throw his name out there, Player Essence. I don't care if I get backlash for it, but I was cool with this dude. I was cool with him, and then after a while, like, I got into a bit of a debate over a fucking video game where I said I don't view the video game, and I just got home too, so my connection should be better. But I got into it with him over a video game called Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
and one of his fans asked me if I thought the game was a fighting game or not. And I'm like, no, I don't think it originally started off being that, but I think it grew to become that. And so, because I said that, he got upset and then started coming at me on Twitter, demanding I go on his channel and debate him and all this other bullshit. And then his fans started coming at me, and then they started threatening me, and then started messaging and DMing and threatening my wife. And then they started messaging my family. And so then when I called him out, he went on this whole smear campaign because I called him out. I said, dude, if you're going to start all this and bring my family into it, we're going to dust up. Yeah. I straight called him out. I said, dude, I'll buy a ticket to California just to whoop your ass. I said, you took this shit too far over a game, a video game. Are you still like, all right. So then he went on this smear campaign, got all these bigger gaming YouTubers that pretty much they're kind of like the Illuminati of gaming on YouTube. So if you piss off one, they try to 86 you from working with anyone in YouTube in the gaming sphere. So him and them bitches, them punk ass bitches did that.
Yeah, you punk ass bitches.
So I gotta call it like it is. So they pulled that, and then it got to a point no gaming YouTuber would associate with fuck with me. Fuck them. Anyway, so
got blackballed.
I keep it 100, man. I can't bullshit with people. So I ended up pivoting. I had to pivot because they 86 me from working with any other gaming YouTuber, big, small, or whatever. Nobody wanted to touch me. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do now? Then I ended up reaching out to the voice of Raiden from Mortal Kombat, Richard Epcar. I reached out to him, like, hey, fan of your work. I'd love to interview you if you'd be interested. And, I sent him an email. Next thing I know, he calls me, and I'm like, hello? He's like, hi, Mekel. I was like, is this the voice of God? He's like, close enough. It's Richard Epcar. The voice of Raiden. I'm like, this motherfucker. So, so it that I interviewed him, and just because I interviewed him, that gave me, I guess, a lot of clout. Because he's done a lot of things. I mean, Raiden, he done the Joker. He's probably the most prolific voice actor this side of, a lot of people. So after him, it just started lining up one after another. We got another voice actor and another one, and I got damn near the entire Street Fighter V voice actor cast.
Yeah, I seen that.
I got the guy from Devil May Cry, Ruben Langdon. I ended up working with because of that. I actually worked with Capcom when they came out here to Hawaii. So I was working with them on what just got announced a couple days ago with that Resident Evil. So, and it just became one thing after another. I just, I did all the voice actors, and I got to a point I was like, hey, what else can I do? So then I started getting the gaming industry people, and then I started, reaching out to other podcasters and other YouTubers that weren't in gaming. And then it got to a point where I was like, hey, let me talk to some of these professional video game players. And I got them and, other influencers and the tech YouTubers. And now the motherfuckers at 86 me, now they want to come on my show. I'm like, that's hilarious. Y'all should be stand-up comedians. They're like, no, we're serious. But, it's just been an interesting 2 years, and in doing podcasting for all this time, learning how podcasting works, learning the craft, learning how to do an intro, mid-roll, and outro, and learning my volumes, and learning how there's a difference between the USB and the XLR mics, and it's such a difference. Yes. Night and day.
Yes, sir. Now, things coming to you easy, whatever. It's just kind of like that for you in school. And now, when it came to, doing the podcast thing, did like some of the things that you just talked about, did it start to come to you easy as well? Or, it was kind of you had to reach upon the university of YouTube to learn things like how I did, or, other podcasters and everything for hints and tips and shit?
No, I did the same way as you. University of YouTube. Shit, you can learn anything on YouTube these days.
Yeah. I changed the freaking the locks and the window motors in my damn truck and all kinds of shit.
Right? No, I mean, it didn't come easy to me because, like, I didn't know anything about podcasting. I didn't know anything about hosting sites or, editing. Like, literally, I started doing YouTube the same time I started doing podcasting. So I had to learn video editing and audio editing and Photoshop all at the same time. And I just taught myself, just constantly rewatching YouTube videos, going on, tutorial sites. And I just literally just taught myself. Like, it didn't come easy at all. Because a lot of it was just foreign to me. I'm like, I don't understand this shit, but I need to learn it, make it work.
Yeah, that damn, I don't know, man. Just the editing for video. It just, oh man, it's just like I have a YouTube. I have 2 of them. One is just like I had since I got damn logged into YouTube or whatever, so I could just save my videos and playlists and all that shit. And then, when I started the show, I just started uploading random shit to the motherfucker. And, with, no theme, no rhyme or reason, just to put shit there. And then most recently, I started going to different conventions and everything, and whatever video I would capture from that. That's what I would put on the newer YouTube that I got that only has, I think, 2 videos on it. And it's just pretty much me just playing around with the camera and everything. And I'm not taking it too seriously. YouTube is not really my thing. It's just like, I would rather be behind the camera and working the effects and all kind of stuff like that than sitting there doing zany reaction videos and product reviews and shit like that, because in real life, I mean, I'm not that excitable of a motherfucker, because like I look at these reaction videos and these dudes is like way over the top to the point to where if I seen this motherfucker on the street, he would get a reaction to me kicking my foot in his ass, because it's just like dude, I have never seen nobody in my 37 years of life react to shit like that, other than like, all right, maybe one of those cringy videos where a motherfucker fall off a house and break his leg or some shit. You see a motherfucker go, ooh, fuck, but damn, somebody smiling or somebody laughing, they're like, oh, that's so amazing. Oh, it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's like I don't understand this era we in right now, as to where, like, I mean, I'm not against it, because I mean, you make money how you make money, or you do what you do to sustain you and your family or whatever it is. But I don't understand how motherfuckers can sit there and watch other people play video games. I don't get it. Now I'll do it to the fact to where, like, I'm playing a game, like right now I'm playing Breath of the Wild on fucking Switch, and there is no tutorials in this motherfucker. I mean, they give you little hints and shit right here or whatever. But I'm going into some of these shrines and I'm like, I would have never known how to solve any of this shit unless I went on YouTube and watched a quick tutorial or something like that. But, I use it in that aspect. But these people, my kids included, they would sit there and watch somebody play like Cuphead from beginning to end. And I'm just like, I would rather them beg me for the game so they can play it rather than to sit there and watch somebody else play it. But then again, I kind of backtrack a little bit. As long as they watching that motherfucker and enjoying it, I don't have to pay for it.
The way I look at it is, because I'm going to say this and people might be surprised for me to say it, I can't watch anyone else stream. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I do it is because I'm like, all right, it's just, if I'm going to play this game, I might as well play it and get some type of profit off it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, I'm currently streaming Gears 5, and I got people coming through watching that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you, the typical YouTube shit. But, it fascinates me too, you and I, we're from the same era. Like we grew up, we'd rather play the damn game than watch somebody else play. Like, motherfucker, I don't want to see. And this is why I was so mad when I went to E3 this year. I stood in that 3.5 hour line to see the Avengers game just to watch the damn developers play the fucking thing. I told them, dude, you know how mad I was after that 10-minute presentation? I told them, I said, y'all motherfuckers ain't get my pre-order money at all. Fuck y'all for this shit. They escorted my ass out of the booth. I was so heated. But, you know, I get it. It's voyeurism in a way. Yeah. But, you know, in this younger generation, they seem to have more of a fascination with watching someone else do something than actually doing it themselves.
Yeah, it's almost it's like the Truman Show.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? The shit's weird to me. Like, I don't get it. But, I mean, if somebody want to watch me play the game, fine. Fuck it. Pay me.
Yeah, because, I mean, I've tried it. You know, it's just like, and it wasn't to a thing to where, like, me and my homeboys, we played Grand Theft Auto 5. And then I would just turn the recorder on, and that'd be it. I mean, I wouldn't advertise nothing like that, and it'll just automatically say be YouTube or whatever. I mean, and that was it, you know? And it's just like, it was almost like a podcast, but it was our avatars running around doing Grand Theft Auto shit, you know? Because if you go back and look at some of those videos, because I have no idea how to play that shit. But my homeboy, Martin, this dude is like the Don of fucking GTA and shit. He got goddamn flying tanks and cars and all kind of crazy shit. He got the Tron motorcycle, the DeLorean. He got all kind of crazy shit. He got mansions and dope houses and bitches walking around butt booty naked. He got all kind of stuff in there. And I'm just sitting there like level 1. Just like still got my wife beater on and my sweatpants running around this bitch. And I'm just following him around while he in a armored car and shit, not getting killed by nobody. So that's what the dynamic between me and him when we would play those games. I would ride around in this indestructible car that he got, and we would get the wanted levels up to as high as we can go, and we would just run out in the street and just start throwing grenades and trying to get back in the car before we get killed and all kind of crazy shit. And that's fun to me, because I'm actually playing with somebody I know, and we just bullshitting, you know, there's no rhyme or reason behind it. I guess, you know, that in itself is fun, but me to watch somebody else do that, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. I still can't. Like I said, I can't do the shit either.
So, I mean, you talk about video games and all that stuff. What you playing on right now? Xbox, PlayStation, all of the above?
All the above. Shit, I'm playing. Let's see. What am I working on? I'm working on, because I have a review code for Death Stranding, so I'm working on that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
that game, I seen the very first trailer for that when they premiered it or whatever, and the whole down the throat baby in the stomach neck thing or whatever. I was like, this some weird shit. And then we started seeing more of it or whatever, because like the cinematics had me hooked. I was like, oh, this is different, and I like that. That's cool, you know. Norman Reedus in this motherfucker or whatever, you know, out of The Walking Dead, which is kind of cool. And then I started seeing the gameplay. This motherfucker is doing a lot of walking.
Goddamn walking simulator.
Goddamn, this is Lord of the Rings, like not the fun one either, just like the walking simulator.
I mean, I can't speak too much on
I understand
what's in it, but I will say, like, the final game and what they've been showing it's just night and day. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. There's definitely aspects of Metal Gear Solid 5 in it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely going to be something people are going to enjoy. So I'm working on that. Borderlands 3, which is stupid fun, but I can't play with nobody because goddamn servers aren't up, so I can't try the online probably until like a day before the review can go up, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I just threw this in here too. Yeah, the online's great. So yeah, I mean, I'm working on that. And then Nintendo, they sent me the new Zelda. So the Link's Awakening remake. So I'm playing that too. I mean, that's fun. It's a cute little diversion until they make Breath of the Wild 2, which is the whole reason they threw it out there. They're like, oh, we need another Zelda game. Of course you do. But yeah, I mean, that's just about it. I wish I could play more of the games I want to play, but it's like whenever they send me a code, they're like, oh, you got a month to get this out. Oh, you got a week. Or sometimes, oh, you need to get this out tomorrow. Like, God damn, how long is this game? 40 hours. Y'all motherfuckers crazy.
But like, how do you even get into the realm of doing stuff like that? Like people reaching out to you to give you codes and stuff like that. Cause I mean, that was one of the things that kind of interested me from, people who do like game reviews and stuff like that. How do you even get in that arena?
It's actually very, very easy. And I stumbled upon it. I can go into it if you want.
I would like to trip over things.
I mean, there's a couple sites that I found out because all I did was I was like, man, how are these YouTubers getting these review codes? How are these people doing that? So I Googled how to get review codes. And a bunch of sites popped up. I'm like, wait, what is this? Keymailer.co, terminals.io, gamespress.com. I went on them and I'm like, okay, let me register. And I registered on those 3 sites. And I went through and said, oh, okay, this game is coming out. Oh, okay. Oh, is the request function? Okay. Request. 2 hours later. Your request has been approved. Here's your code.
The fuck?
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna get on Google tomorrow.
Dude, I'll send you a list. I'll send you the itinerary.
Word.
I got the list. I'll shoot it over to you. There's a lot of stuff. So it's like when you're doing that, and after a while, like, because and the one thing too I've noticed is all these people in the gaming industry work side by side. They all know each other. So like if you're doing really good reviews, regardless of whether you like the game or not, but if the quality is good and you're just being honest about what you feel, they respect that.
Yeah, because I mean, everybody can't be yes men, because they gave you this free thing to try, because I mean, they can't develop as a developer.
Right.
So, I mean, because I say it at the end of every show is just like, leave a 5-star review. I mean, if it's anything under 5, leave some feedback, give me the opportunity to ignore you,
Right. So it's like, after doing that for a couple months, then I started having companies reach out to me. Because when you go on these sites, you build out your profile, you put your social media links, like a contact number, and your email and all that. So they watch you, and when you do it long enough, you put out the videos, like, or you stream, or you put them on like a blog site or your website, they watch all that stuff. They watch all of it. And I've noticed that these YouTubers, and I'm going to talk shit about these motherfuckers because a lot of them are stupid as fuck. They'll get a game, and either they A, don't play it, B, don't play it and review like parts from other YouTubers or from websites and throw up a review. A lot of motherfuckers do that. Or C, they just bash the game with no sense of professionalism. Because that's a way you can bash a game to be respectful. And I tell people all the time, you don't want to piss off these people in the industry, because you piss off one, you're done.
Yeah.
You're quickly done.
You're going to get blackballed like you did.
Yeah. and it's like, you're talking about the entire industry. It doesn't matter. You can go to someone else and like, oh yeah, I'd like to work with you. Yeah, I heard from such that you did this with this. So yeah, we're not going to work with you. And see, I see a lot of these YouTubers that do it. So I was saying,
but like, what are some good, if you can give anybody some advice on like doing reviews and anything, what are some good tips that you would toss out there and everything? Since you in a given mood and everything.
I'm always in the giving mood. I mean, if any of y'all out there want to get into game reviewing or work with these companies, the best advice I would give is to just start. Like, get a free blog site, or go to Wix.com and build a website, build some simple something, and just start. Like, if there's games that you currently have, just write down your thoughts on them. You don't have to have a formula or a format, because the companies, they just want to see that you're actually putting in some work. You got to do the work. And if you can just say, hey, I have this game, or I got 2K20 and it's trash because they need to fix it, blah, 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 or I really like it because of this, then that's good enough. You can build your voice and your style over time. But so long as you're building a portfolio of work, that goes a long way, because when you start requesting games, some companies, like if you go through Keymailer or Terminals or GamesPress, sometimes they don't really care if you've got a body of work. But if you don't, for certain, like bigger titles like Call of Duty, you need a body of work that proves that you're not just asking for a free code and not going to give them something in return. And the other thing, too, is like, don't be afraid to reach out to companies. Don't think that you got to have an astronomical amount of subscribers for any of these companies to work with you, because you don't. I started off YouTube back when I started doing the podcast. I had 0 subs. I'm now at 11,000, but I was working with companies when I had 0 to 10 subs. All they cared about is, can you put out a passionate, honest review? That's it. That's really it. And make sure you go and, subscribe to not subscribe, but go and, sign up for those sites, those 3 sites, keymailer.co, terminals.io. There's also gamespress.com, and you need to sign up with them. And the other thing, too, is there's another site called Woovit, WOOVIT.com. And you can go there and build your profile out. And if there are games, if you have the reach that they're looking for, all you got to do is, there's a majority of the games there, it'll have a section say you can either request a game or you can just get the game right now, where you press get now. There's the code, and you can download the game. And the only thing you got to do is submit footage.
Word.
That's it. Yeah. And it's amazing to me that this knowledge is not that public. And it's like there's so much ability for people to just do this. Like, anyone can get into this. There's more than enough. Like, I know some people may think, there's only so many that can do it. No, anyone can hop in and do this. There's no limit to it. I mean, even if, and I'll throw this out here too. If you're a podcaster, you can go to E3 for free.
Word?
Completely. Yeah. The minimum requirement they have for podcasters is 50 iTunes ratings and or reviews. One of the two.
I got 58. I'm good.
Yeah. You can go. I mean, dude, for real. We can talk about it offline or here however you want. But you can go for free. I told Delvin that too. I said, dude, you can go for free. He's like, word? Like, yeah. They don't advertise it.
Yeah, because everybody be trying to go. Yeah, and I understand that a little bit, because most recently I've been going to different conventions and whatnot. First of which was here in Houston, Comic Palooza, and it was the same thing. I applied, shot them a little bit of info, and they was like, here's some passes, come on in. And I was like, word. I got to do a couple of panels. I did a live show on the floor in there, which was like, it was kind of like a dog chasing cars and shit. Like, I'm in there trying to do the interview with my guests and shit, and it was like Deadpool and Harley Quinn and all these other motherfuckers walking in front of me. And it was like, I'm talking to him and I'm interacting with them at the same time. And it's just, it's weird. And then a lot of it sometimes too is just like, these things will be 3 days long. And it's like, I've done everything I could do the first day. So like day 2 is like, all right, I'll bring the kids. Day 3 is like, I'm catching up with my friends and, kind of wrapping things up and whatnot.
Right. And it's good. It's a good opportunity to network. That's the other thing that, like, when I went to E3, this is my first E3 I've ever been to. And I got flown there for free. And a lot of the other YouTubers and content creators that were there with me, they're all trying to play video games. My whole mentality when I was there, I'm like, fuck this. I'm going to grow my brand. I'm going to, I had business cards. I was interviewing different developers and CEOs and whatnot. I'm like, nah, you know what? Y'all going to know who I am.
Yeah.
So, and I just went there. I just started networking with different companies. And, the shit paid off. Like, the Gears, the Gears 5 Xbox One X, Microsoft sent that bitch to me.
Word.
I got that, beginning of, or the end of last week. Yeah. Send it to me. Say, enjoy. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So next time you do that, tell them send 2, then you can send me the other one.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the plug with a lot of these folks, because it's the thing. It's like it's like IT. Like it's hard to get in, but not really. Yeah, actually, let me take that back. It's not hard to get in. It's really not in what you know; it's who you know.
Yeah,
and you get in good with that one person, dude. You're set.
Yeah, and that was another thing that I kind of want to pull this down to an end with is whatever. You had a decent job.
Yeah.
I say decent, but you had a good job, and you quit to do this.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're not the first person that I've ever heard of doing such a thing or whatever. I had a former guest, Jeffrey Taylor, and he did the same thing. He did a video with him talking to his parents, telling them that he quit his job to pursue, content creation and whatnot. So, I mean, when I heard you were doing the same thing, I was just like, oh, I need to talk to you, because like, it doesn't suit me to do it right now. I'm not in the situation to where I believe I can do that, because I got a lot of shit going on. But, everybody's situation is different. And, to hear more people, it's kind of like the cable, man. Just cutting that cord and doing your own thing and whatnot. And, for those of you that are kind of in the similar spot that you are and you want to pursue it wholeheartedly or whatever, I mean, this is the opportunity to where, like, I want to pick your brain on, what was the motivation behind it? When did you decide, like, all right, this is it. I'm doing this shit, and fuck your couch, IT department, or whatever the hell. So, I mean, what was that like for you?
Okay, you want the politically correct, or you want the raw and dirty?
What we been doing the whole time, man? I tell Devin Cox all the time, man. There's like, I got the plan B on deck because I'm going raw.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, man, I'm definitely going to have you on my podcast with schedule. Like, we need to make this happen. Yeah. So I've been working at, the hospital that I've been working for years now, going on 6-7 years, almost 8 years. And I never considered being a full-time content creator or podcaster. It was always just something I did on the side to de-stress myself, from my job, because, I'm working 18-hour days, 6 days a week. Sometimes I'm doing full 48-hour rotations.
Yeah.
And I don't have a team. I didn't have a team. I didn't have a backup. I didn't have, anyone that could I had a boss who was my quote unquote backup. That motherfucker didn't do shit. He didn't know shit either. But
I understand.
It's amazing how you know more shit than the people you work for. But I didn't have any of that. And it just started getting to a point where I'm like, I'm proud of being with the company in the sense I'm the first ever telephony analyst they've ever had in the company's 60-something year history. The first one. So I pioneered that. I'm the first black or part black, person in the company in a prominent role ever. I was proud of that. But it just got to a point where I was looking at my wife and
Hey, man, we don't need to know all that stuff. You just looking at
No. I just saying, I was looking at my wife because in the sense of it was to a point where the only time I ever saw her was when I left in the morning and she was asleep, and I came home at night and she was asleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was like, go ahead.
Yeah, we was in the same boat, man. She found a job that would, offer her some decent pay, but at the same time, it was at night and I work all day. So it was just like, it was points in time to where when I would walk in the door and I would see her walking out the door. And then other times we had the overlap to where I come home and she's already gone by the time I get there. And then by the time I'm out the door to go to work, she getting home right after me. So the only time I seen her was on the Arlo camera. I get a notification on my phone. Oh, my wife is home.
No, I mean, and going through that, because it takes a toll on your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been married now for we're coming up on 4 years. But we've been together for 5 and known each other for 12.
Mm-hmm.
I've known her ever since I came out here to Hawaii. And no, I ain't related to her. So.
Yeah, good.
This is kind of a problem in Hawaii. A lot of motherfuckers are related to each other. And it's like, no, I tell you a story. When we first got together, I'm like, yeah, we need to do a DNA test. We ain't related, right? Where's the tree split on the family timeline? Okay, cool. We not related at all. All right, we good.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. They got a small town here in not here, but in Louisiana that both of my parents are from. So it's seeing that it's small and both of my parents from there. A lot of people there are my kinfolk. So I go down there and be like, hey girl, what's your name? Oh, that's your cousin. Shit. All right.
Bro, the struggle is real sometimes. But yeah, I got to a point where I'm like barely seeing her. Like, we don't have any kids or anything like that. We were trying to have a family, and it's like she had sent me a text message because it got to the point the only time we communicated was through text, and we started to slowly like drift apart, a bit. And I'm like, all right, I'm not enjoying this. Something needs to change. And I told my job, I said, look, I need to cut back on some projects, cut back on some hours because I don't have any work-life balance. So their response to that was to give this motherfucker more work to do.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm like, okay, all right. I got some vacation. I went from 18 hours, it went 22-hour work weeks. Literally, it was just, 22 hours a day. And literally, I think it got to a point a couple months, I just didn't come home because I'm at work. Or if I came home, it was a shower. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I was just sleeping in my office. And so then we went to E3. We both went together because she does content creation too. And she's about to start her own podcast. And we both got to go. And that was the first time we spent fully together since we had our honeymoon.
Damn.
And yeah, and after that, and then, talking with various people, I got to kick it with, the new CEO of Nintendo, Doug Bowser. I got to kick it with him and Reggie and Phil Spencer and a bunch of other people at E3. And then a lot of people, a lot of the voice actors, a lot of the different industry folks were like, man, you should just do this full time. You have a gift. Oh, and a lot of them like, oh, I heard of you before. You're the guy in Hawaii with the podcast. And I didn't promote it. But I guess people I had on, the word got around. So then, after E3, the bug started to kick in like, okay, I could probably do this. I don't know how. I don't have a plan, but I could probably do it. But then I'm like, yeah, but I live in a comfortable house. We comfortable life. We just got a house. I don't really want to jeopardize all that. And then little by little, more people I interviewed, more opportunities open, paid opportunities start opening themselves up to me. And I'm like, I can't juggle a job and this. I got to pick one or the other. But I kept putting it off until a couple of weeks ago. What was it? Admissions day, when, college admissions day.
Yeah.
I had just came off of a 48-hour straight, work day. And then I was supposed to be off admissions day. And when I came home, fell asleep in my car, in park, with the engine on and windows up. I just passed out as soon as I got home. And then, my wife came out, told me to come in the house. And I realized, I'm like, yeah, I need to go work on something for the call schedules. So it's playing the vacation or not a vacation, the holiday hours. Forgot to do that and just passed out. So then when I wake up the next day, my phone's blowing up. The director of the call center is calling, bitching me out, yelling at me, calling me stupid and confident. I don't know how to do my job, blah, 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 threatening me. And I'm like, what's going on? She's a woman, and that director was she's just very emotional. Mm-hmm. So I had to calm her down and be like, look, what's the problem? We out there all the theatrics. What's the issue? So she tells me, and as she's telling me, I'm already in the system and I fixed it in 2 minutes. So the phone lines were down for an hour, but I fixed it within 2 minutes. And then she just proceeds she calls up 3 ways my boss, 3 ways, then 4 ways, and that's in his boss. And then it's just bashing me and telling me I don't do my job, blah, blah, blah. It's just all this other bullshit. And I'm just like, I'm tired and I don't feel like arguing. So I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen again, blah, blah, blah. So then Monday comes around and that director decides to escalate it further to get me fired. Yeah.
What kind of people are you dealing with? That's some nasty kind of people to be dealing with.
That company is full of them. And I don't recommend anyone who's listening to this podcast work for Hawaii Pacific Health. Just a PSA. But so she escalated high up to the VP of the company. And I've never been written up. I've never had any issues ever in my years of working with the company. She does that because she has this power trip thing. A lot of people in that company do. And they act like they're gods. You can't defy them. So she escalated. It got, I got pulled into a meeting and I was told that, 1 or 2 options. they're either going to fire me or they're going to monitor all my work and have someone else that they're going to bring in, have me train them, and once that person's trained, they're going to let me go.
Okay.
So I'm like, are you serious? And then they're like, yeah. And so I just sat there. Then they gave me a write-up, a final warning write-up. I wanted me to sign it. I didn't sign it. I said, no, I'm not signing this. I don't agree with it. So I've been with this company how many years, and you guys decided to do what? Like, no, I'm not signing this. Fuck this. So I go home. Before I go home, I went back to my office to go get some stuff. And then apparently people in the call center they were coming up to me like saying, oh, I heard such and such, Mary Lou, the call center director, I heard, she's trying to do this, this, and this. And, and I was working in an office full of women. They all like to gossip. And I'm like, yeah, well, no, I don't know. I just played the role. I don't know. I'm just grabbing my stuff because I don't want to add nothing to it. And then I go home. I tell my wife what happened. My wife's pissed. And she's like, I think you should quit. I'm like, why? She said, because I feel like they're trying to set you up for something. I'm like, no, they wouldn't do that. The company's not like that. It's just, she's just having an emotional moment.
And now it's not like they're trying to set you up from what you told me so far.
Right. You're right. And I'm being stupid trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. But you're right. And so I go in the next day on a Tuesday, and I'm told on that Tuesday that the director called my boss's boss, told her that I had ran around spreading rumors about her, saying she was trying to get me fired to her staff. I was like, wait, what? They're like, yeah, this is what we were told, and we're going to have to discipline you. I'm like, wait. How are you going to discipline me if you don't even know if this happened? I'm like, who said what? Oh, we're not at liberty to say. I'm like, okay. Well, they're like, yeah, so for now, you're just going to just go to your office and just keep your head down. Don't talk to anyone. So that was that day. I come into work Wednesday, and I get escorted out of the call center that I oversaw by security. And my desk is cleared out at the request of that director. And so after that, and then I talked to my boss about it because he didn't know that went down. And I told him, I said, that bitch had not only called me again after the stuff the week prior happened, but also texted me saying how incompetent I am in my job and don't know what I'm doing. And he's like, no. I said, this is going on and you guys are trying to write me up. He's like, well, it's just, how management is here at this company. It's just, it's very high schoolish. I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I didn't, it's just one of those things, and it's out of character for me to do that. But after all that bullshit, in my head, I'm like, this can only get worse. And I'm the only guy in a department full of women.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they kind of gave you no choice, I mean, aside from what you was, already kind of doing with your podcast and your streaming and all that stuff. I mean, they was kind of laying that groundwork for you to make that move that way anyway.
Yeah, they were. They really were. And in my last 2 weeks, which my last day was last week, Tuesday, it got worse and worse and worse. There was more shit every day I came into work. And at one point, my wife was stressed out about the bills and whatnot. She's like, "Are you sure you can't just stay there until you can find something else?" And then every day I would come home, I'd tell her what happened. She's like, "Fuck that. She's like, just take this and run with it. And so I have. I actually booked a gig with Hawaii Con, and I'm going to be hosting Dragon Ball Fighters tournament, and I'm also going to be doing a live broadcasted podcast with all of the actors and celebrities there. Basically, I'm going to be making what I would have made in 2 weeks, just doing a 3-day panel. And, and that's opening other doors or other opportunities. So I'm like thinking, okay, well, maybe this happened for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. You're exactly right. I mean, because if you would have took a left over here, you wouldn't end up right where you at over here.
Right. Right. But yeah, it's it's a journey, and I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of the people I know that have quit their jobs to just pursue something bigger, like a lot of YouTubers I know that I'm actually cool with, and some of the voice actors I know, and just different people. They all it's kind of all of a similar story where they kind of were put in a position where it's either you get fired or you quit, and you just make this work. And, it's scary, but, you got to have some faith in yourself.
Yeah.
You got to know that, okay, I'm the shit at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make this work. And it's a different feeling, and I have to say, like, 'cause dealing with this last week and a half of adjusting to just, I don't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work. I don't really have to go to sleep at this point. It's just one of those situations where it's like, all right, this is what I need to do today.
Mm.
Let me knock it out. And the only person that's holding me accountable is myself and my wife with the whip looking at the bills.
My wife.
Right. Be like, say my money. She's like, whose money? Right. Our money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But to kind of put a cap on it or whatever.
All right.
Going from, what you described yourself as, the socially awkward kid, being 16 in college and all this other crazy shit. How did you get from there to where you are now, hosting panels and being in front of people and doing interviews and whatnot? How do you transition from then to now? Just
life. I just going from college to where I'm at now. I did a lot of things in between, being the socially awkward kid in college, not really having social skills with other people, my age or older, due to homeschooling. I ended up, just trying to figure out, okay, how do I become cool? And I used to watch Hitch, true story. I used to watch Hitch and copy that shit. And
10 and 2, dog. 10 and 2.
10 and 2. And then, going to the club and, hanging out and observing folks and see, what the cool cats are doing, and then just copying that. And if we're being honest, the whole Mekel Kasanova persona actually got crafted from that. I got to see people, like guys who were able to pull any chick in the club without any effort, or get into the club for free, or, and I just started copying that, and then that led into me making friends with the bouncers, and then the front door people, and the owners of the clubs, and I transitioned over to being a promoter, when I was in college, and people were like, oh, you can get me in the club? Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
You picked on me. I'd be like, you can let all these motherfuckers in except that one.
Yeah, damn.
And just, taking those skills, and I went from that to, I got to be a MC on 102.7 out here. That's our hip hop station. I got to do that for about 2 years, and, and just doing that and falling into IT and learning how to be technical, because I had to teach myself all IT stuff. I had no background in it, but learning how to be technical from the IT side and how to write out how things are going to work and proposals, to learning how to interact and deal with people from the club and promoting and emceeing. I just melded all that shit together and just built the persona of Mekel Kasanova. And, you know, no matter what I did, from retail to IT to just reaching out or putting out proposals, I just knew how to be, you know, if I'm based around a person that's super technical, I can talk technical. If I'm around someone who I can just shoot the shit with, I can shoot the shit. I can adapt myself, not change who I am, but, you know, I can adapt to the situation. And, you know, I just apply that to my podcast, you know, and it was another avenue. Everything I've wanted to do, I always pursued it. And I was like, hey, you know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give this 110%. And then there you go.
For sure. Well, my man, it has been a journey, you know, for you personally and for us during this broadcast. And I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I can understand why you and Delvin cool. And I understand why I'll be on your show here pretty soon, strutting like a peacock and everything.
For sure.
But, man, I appreciate you giving me your time and everything, from exclusively from Best Buy in the whip to the house. You know? See, I'm amongst the select few to have, you know, to have those accolades up under my belt. And yeah, somebody come from Best Buy to the car to the crib, you know.
Man, it's been an absolute blast being on your show, man. I love this. I love being able to talk. It's, you know, and it's a rarity for me to have the opportunity to be on somebody else's show. I think aside from you and Delvin, like, I don't think I've been on anybody else's show.
Yeah, and that's another thing I'm kind of seeking as well, because, like, 189 episodes now, and I'm just like, I've only been a handful of places in almost 4 years, so I'm just like, I need to get out there. So
yeah, man, for sure, we're gonna make that happen. We're gonna get you on my show
for sure, and then you might find some links and give me some plane tickets to where you at for free, and then I can be on your show in person.
Shit, we can make that happen.
Right. But before you go, my man, let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
All right, people, you can find me, Mekel Kasanova, across the board. I keep the shit simple. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram. If y'all fuck with Facebook, I'm on Facebook too. I don't have Snapchat. Well, I do, but I don't use that.
Yeah,
I don't have the time for it.
Yeah.
But you can find me on those. I'm on YouTube. Same thing. Just look up Mekel Kasanova. And yeah, I got the Kasanova Podcast, #1 Hawaii. Real shit, no bullshit. 2 years in a row now. So #1. I mean, there are other podcasts out here in Hawaii, but I mean, have you heard of them?
No. See that? I can't say I have. This is the only podcast I know that says Hawaii in the goddamn shit, you know. So, and that's eye popping for me too. It's like Hawaii's #1 podcast. It's like, goddamn, they got podcasts in Hawaii. I mean, I imagine people is like out there living the life and doing tropical shit rather than sitting there podcasting in the house and shit. So, I mean,
dude, you would be amazed. You know what's funny is my podcast is #1 Hawaii, but people in Hawaii, most folks don't know who I am.
Mm-hmm. Well, shit, I'm in everybody Walmart and nobody know who I am. So, I mean, hey, it's a trade-off, man. I don't know.
You know, and it's just funny too. Like, 'cause we have like a little podcasting organization out here, and them motherfuckers get mad every time. They're like, okay, so here are top podcasters for this month. Oh, okay, Mekel's #1 again. Oh shit. All right, don't say it like that, God. Shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun, man. It's podcasting. I think it's truly an amazing journey. And I don't know if you noticed this trend. There's so many celebrities and YouTubers and everyone trying to hop on doing podcasting.
Of course.
It's funny to me because a lot of them don't know what all goes into podcasting. They think they can just do what they're currently doing and bring it over. And it's like, no, it's a different beast. It's a different beast. It's a different audience. And if people are only used to, a couple minutes of you or an hour of you or half an hour of you, then you're going to have to be able to transition and engage them for the next however long the podcast is. It's just one of those things. And, I've helped a lot of people start podcasts. Like, you're into wrestling. I'm sure you've heard of Chris Van Vliet.
Oh, yeah, that's my homie. Yeah. Well, I say that's my homie. He was on my show.
Oh, shit. Well, my homie, too. I don't know if you helped him as well, but I helped him with starting his podcast.
Yeah, I gave him a couple of tips and everything. I mean, he's good people. I like him a lot.
Yeah. He's real good people. And it's like, him and I've one of my other friends wanted to start a podcast, and he's like, oh, I don't know if I can reach out to people. I'm like, man, motherfucker, grow a pair of balls and just walk up to somebody, peacock your goddamn feathers out and say, look, I'm such and such. Be on my show.
Yeah.
And he did it.
I like how you took my peacock thing.
I had to run with it. And my friend did it. He went and the first person he interviewed ever on his podcast was the guy who voiced the main character of Shinbu.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's what's up. A lot of people probably won't know who he is, but for the people who do fuck with it, hey, that's an accomplishment. Keep going.
Yep. Man, this is fun, but I got to go do adult stuff now. I mean, I don't have the luxury of like not having to get up in the morning and do other work like some people I know. You man, motherfucker.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's just weird. When I wake up and it's like 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, God damn, what happened? I fell asleep. Oh, okay.
Oh shit. But yeah, man, once again, thank you very, very much. And if I don't like close this shit out, we keep talking for another hour. So yeah. Right? Yeah, I heard him. He plugged all the things and shit. So follow him on the social medias and whatnot, and like, subscribe, and do what the people say, But yeah, that's it. We clear. And that was the homie Mekel Kasanova from the Hawaii's #1 motherfucking podcast, and it was a great time. I mean, we had a good conversation, so I thought or whatever. And he's so cool and professional and everything. He probably led me on to believe that he was having a good time. But yeah, man, doing it full time, creating content, out there on the grind, looking for sponsors and everything like that. He is living the podcast dream and YouTuber dream, I suppose, or whatever. And I kind of briefly touched on it. If there was an opportunity for me to do this full time, I know a couple of things. I would have to step my game up. I know I'm slacking. There's a lot of things that I want to do, but it's just like I have continually preached on this show to you, the listener, that if you have an idea, to go chase it or whatever. And I have not been taking my own advice, financial woes or personal problems or whatever the case may be. And also a lot of the visions that I have for the things that I want to do is, I kind of conflict with myself because I do want to create video content, but at the same time, I don't feel like creating video content, if that really makes any sense. I just enjoy going to motherfucking Walmart and doing my Instagram joints like I normally do and whatnot, and maybe to expand upon that and everything. But it remains to be seen. But I'm happy for the guy, man. He found something, whether he was pushed more toward that situation rather than him, making the plan to go that route all along, So, I mean, you heard the story and everything. That was some shady shit going on over there. But in any case, great to have him on the show. Hope he comes back. Hope I can go onto Hawaii's #1 podcast and get my voice, shout out around Hawaii and whatnot. Maybe like I said, man, you can pull some strings with his sponsor buddies or whatnot. Give me some free plane tickets out there to go to Hawaii and whatnot. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the show and look forward to more things and whatnot. I'm going to New Orleans to celebrate my wife's birthday and our anniversary, 11 years together married. And, they're within 3 days of each other. So her birthday is on the 16th. Our anniversary is on the 19th. It's just weird set of circumstances. But if you listen to the Real Robinsons podcast that you can find on all the podcasting platforms and exclusively on, I guess it's not exclusively if you can find it everywhere else, but you can find it on randomrobcast.com. And speaking of randomrobcast.com, if you go there, you can find many different ways to support the show monetarily. But the most important way that you can support this podcast and any other podcast, besides throwing money at it, but the free way is to leave 5-star reviews on whatever app that'll allow you to leave 5-star reviews. And even if you leave anything under 5 stars or whatever, under the highest marking that you can give, leave some feedback, some comments, give me the opportunity to ignore you. But anyway, also find me on Twitter at itsbrob. That's ITSBROB. If you want to talk professional wrestling and any other general shenanigans, I've been gravitating more toward using at 3R Show, which I use to promote this podcast that you're listening to right now. So at 3R Show on Twitter. And you can see me walking around in the motherfucking Walmart, like I just did a little while ago before I started doing this outro, on Instagram using that hashtag 3R Show or hashtag Walmart log. It's log. It's log. It's big. It's heavy as wood. Yeah, like a penis. And yeah, that's about it. Shout outs to Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. They got a little rebranding going on and everything. But remember, as always, you can go to hooksrubsandspices.etsy.com and get 10% off your order, $6 or more. They got some Cajun Red. That's a new spice they got. They got that Midnight Darkness, everybody. So that's another seasoning they got up in there now. And I think there was another one, but I haven't got the care package yet. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Hooks, Rubs, and Spices. But once again, use that promo code 3R Show. Get 10% off your order on orders $6 or more. Great value, great herbs and spices and anything that you make you want to slap your mama, like Hoppy said at the beginning of the show. So check it all out. You guys are awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you that listen, retweet, like, and do all those things. Those free ways that you can help support the show. I appreciate that very much. And I'll see you next time. Oh, man. I forgot to tell you. October 18th through the 20th, Fandemic here in Houston, Texas, NRG Freaking Center. There you go. Now I'll see you next time.